Welcome back to the KOA Sports League.
Welcome back to the KOA Sports League.
Welcome back to the KOA Sports League.
We've got live broadcasts like you've never seen before.
Sinclair's holding them off. Cohen's off the front. Giuliano up the inside. Looks like Giuliano's going to time that attack perfectly.
We've got a pre-show like you've never seen before.
And in the race tonight, Alessio has a victim, and he's beaten him twice out of 2 times they've ever raced, and that's Yuri. So he's got the wood, as we like to say. We've got live workouts like you've never seen before. Seconds to go, 7 seconds to go. Start to grit those teeth, and you've just got to loosen the grip and push a little bit harder.
Performance verification like you've never seen before. Hang on. Whoa. Wait, hey. Mate, you're in the book. What's your Valentine? Right, you're in the book, mate. You're in the book. Kent Cross, you're in the book.
And it's all free.
And it's all free.
And it's all free. Welcome to the KOA Sports Warrior Race. Day 2 of the KOA Sports League Season 2. I'm excited. I'm in Antarctica. Tim, where are you?
You're still with the Penguins, mate. Mate, I think fair to say that we were sort of floating a little bit last night. We had numbers that we have never, ever seen before on a live broadcast, and we should welcome in earlier because we did.
Well, I'm going to do the intro. I'm going to do the intro here, Tim.
We got a clip.
So, a man that hails out of Antarctica, the man himself, he has no knees. His name is Kent Cappuccino Cross, and here's the KOA Sports Penguin coming in from the broadcast studio on the Sunshine Coast. How are you, Kappa?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for that intro. I think I can see myself in the background there. So
That's good. You're hobbling along, no knees, or have you got knees this week? Who knows? So, Tim, massive night last night in the start of Season 2 of the KOA Sports League.
Yep. Yeah,
unbelievable.
That's right. Yeah, that's right, Greg. It was the pre-season race for our verified race for our members. So we had about 40 starters there, 50 signed up, and 40 took to the start. And geez, what it was an unbelievable finish, and a lot of people got to enjoy that. So of course, I'll let you go through what people are going to see today. But mate, last night off with an absolute bang. And of course, if you want to join the league and you want to be part of some of our private races that we're putting on, just go to koasportsleague.com. It's free. Join up and join about 285 others as it stands at the moment. So a great little community we are building here, and we just want to really, seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, thank all the people that are sharing the stuff and making us, get some exposure, because it goes a long way to helping us put together some really tidy productions.
Yeah, absolutely. So big shout out to all the riders in the paddock. So
that penguin's overweight.
That's a heavy penguin. Well, it's trying to tell me something there. But yeah, huge shout out to all the riders in the paddock. If you are watching on Facebook, especially on the Zwift Community Live channel, we are live on KOA Sports as well. Pop your comments, feedback, tag your mates, share it around. All sorts of humour, bring all that on. We're all happy to share that out as well. And we are looking forward to this race, Tim, is our traditional hour that we've run now for quite a few months. This is the KOA Sports Warrior Race, and it is a public event. So we have some of the heaviest hitters in the Zwift world at the moment.
Not in literal terms, of course. They're not heavy hitters.
Heavy
but
lightweights.
they pack a punch. So we're going for 2 laps of the Astoria Line 8 course out on New York, and really looking forward to. Geez, the finish is interesting. It's not a sprinter's delight. That said, the sprinters still do pretty well because they can just hold that 15-second power so well. And let's have a look at the course that the riders will be doing 2 laps of tonight. And if you are tuning in for the first time, we really try and help educate and teach people to try and understand what it is that you're looking at. So we'll do our very best in that regard. So let's jump to the ride through and talk you through exactly what this course holds in store.
So as you'll see, there's some familiar sights. If you've ever been to Central Park in New York and haven't seen this course before, we are rolling around it. So
yep.
It's an 11.1 kilometre course, Tim. It's
One lap.
It's
Yep.
definitely rolly. So yeah, certainly 2 laps in the course tonight. You'll get some power ups as you go around as well. So we'll run through what they mean and how all that works as the race rolls on. One of the things you need to continually do in this event, as you'll see the numbers there, 7-8% gradients, but the little pinches only last for 200 to 300 metres tops. So you really need to push hard over those and then remain in the peloton as you go over the top.
Yeah, we saw some big breaks last night and some big numbers in that elevation. So, definitely one there that people are going to be up and down out of their saddles and pulling big power. You can see their top right. You can see those elevation changes. It's always happening. It's an action-packed course. So they cover a bit over 370 metres of climbing just in this 23-kilometre race tonight. So look for plenty of fireworks and the all-famous, the all-conquering finish line that packs, I think, about 8-9% in the end. So this is one of the parts of the course where the riders can essentially get a little bit of relief as they come on this long, sweeping downhill. But don't get too comfortable, because we've seen in community races on the KOA Sports Warrior race also, we've seen attacks on downhill, Greg.
Oh, yeah.
So you just can be caught napping, and these are the big bash form of Zwift racing, certainly in the KOA Sports League.
Yeah, so that we're going to hit it not too far away now. Once you hit that little climb up to the finish, it really smashes you right in the face.
That sprint banner there, that's a chance there to pick up that last power up as well. So if you haven't got what you like and you need that feather power up for this finish line, that's the point to grab it, but you just got to dump what you've got. So they take this left-hander here, and here's that finish. Look at that, bang, 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 8-9% there in the finish as it starts to really ramp up.
It really ramps up, and we're going to highlight a few riders in a minute, Tim, that certainly lit the race up. One in particular from last night, and he is backing up this morning as well. So we might jump across Kappa and have a look at a few of the riders joining us this evening or this morning in the KOA Sports Warrior race.
Who you got there, Greg? Who are we kicking off with?
A young man. We are always highlighting young men here. This young man was probably born the year I finished high school. So his name is Dalton Stretton. He's a Taswegian, Tim. He lives on a little island off the big island of Australia. So Dalton is a young man. He's
Took it out last night, didn't he?
Absolutely. Took the chockies last night in a big push up to the finish line. And if you can zoom in there, if you're on your phone, have a look at those quads in that photo. So very big into his track cycling as well. And third place in the Australian under-17 time trial in 2019, if you don't mind. So can hold some serious power right around this course. Yeah, so new rider to Zwift in sort of, when we compare him to some of our other athletes that do our races. So 42 races, last 10 starts, Tim, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a bronze. So not bad for a young man. Watch him on his long sprint. I love my predictions. I say this all the time. I think he's going to go early. He did last night, and Westy couldn't quite trace him down. So just watch him there, and has a little bit of the wood, as we say, Tim, on the great Kieran Lewis, which Kieran's from works for Zwift, and Dalton has certainly taken him down a couple of times already. So
a bit of a bunny.
Just a little bit of a kick there for Kieran as we go through.
That's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh.
Now I'm going to throw back to you, Tim, because you have got another athlete to highlight there as well.
Yeah, I certainly do, Greg. Thanks, mate. So one of the ever-popular KOA Sports Warriors, an athlete that I coach based out of Singapore and currently qualified for Ironman Kona coming up in October. And that is, of course, Joel Liebe, who's actually featuring in the upcoming podcast. I'm going to go stand over here because I always go to the wrong side. But so Joel Liebe, of course, based out of Singapore, pretty new to Zwift racing, I must say. He loves a structured workout and he loves a bit of pain, Joel. So his last 10 starts, he's been pretty consistent. He's placed in 4 of them. He's won once, had a couple of seconds and a third. He was preparing for Tour de Bintan, which was supposed to be last week. So we are coming well and truly out of a pretty big 6-week bike block. So bike form, I'm going to say, sorry to throw you under the bus there, Joel, but is pretty Mickey Mouse at the moment. And so I'm expecting a very, very big finish from Joel. Just a super talented father of 3 and just an all-round nice guy. One of I respect a dad with young kids that can get all the training in. So doing really, really good things. So So, and of course, out of Switzerland as well, so based in Singapore. So, welcome along, Joel. I think this might be his second, maybe even his first KOA Sports community race. So, look for Joel in the finish. He will certainly be able to stick with the front pack, I hope. If he doesn't, then as a coach, that's pretty poor.
Nothing like a bit of pressure coming right down on the back of the shoulders from the coach. So well done, and good to see Joel in the paddock there as well. And third rider we want to highlight is a man out of Argentina, Mr. Leandro Messinio. There you go. And we've actually got Leandro's proper photo up there, Tim. We didn't have to pop in Diego Maradona.
We're just going to call him Messi.
So Messi's in there. We should have put a photo of Messi. We've had Maradona on the broadcast before. So it's now this man, Tim, he is, and Kappa, and everyone out there, this guy is a genuine superstar of the Zwift community. 395 races. So not too shabby. And certainly very experienced. Last 10 starts, 2 wins, 3 seconds, 1/3. And we're not just talking about just going around in these smaller events. Messi has cracked the Callis Cup most weeks. I'm not too sure. I didn't catch the race this morning, but certainly a regular top 10 finisher in the Callis Cup, which alongside the KOA Sports Warrior race is one of the bigger events on the Zwift platform at the moment. So watch out for him. Little bit of info on him as well. If you're familiar with Zwift racing, the names Boniface and Zimmerman will come to mind. And looking at the head-to-head with Messi as well, about 50-50. So expect to see some huge fireworks from this man. He has some huge quads, Tim.
Boniface is a verified league member, actually. That just happened overnight.
There you go. So welcome to the league, Mr. Boniface as well. So huge sprint. Watch his pistons at the end. I'm going to expect him to have the fireworks up that last climb if he can hold with the group around to that second sprint as well.
Should we get down to the paddock, Greg? We're probably inside 3 minutes, so let's throw to the stinger and get to the action. 2 laps tonight, Astoria Line 8 course on New York.
Per kilo by Sproul. Jason's coming back. Chris is coming back over the top.
And here we are, Tim, in the paddock. So we'll address this straight up. We will have, by next week, everyone will be in their own jersey.
Correct.
But we are going to have the commentary performance of our lives to call this one, with everyone looking very similar in the paddock. So if your headwear is a little bit different, we'll be able to pick you out. So
yeah, it's a bit like trying to call the Melbourne Cup or a horse race, and they say, we're going to send everyone out there and all the jockeys are going to wear the same colours. A little bit of a challenge, but we're going to do the very, very best that we can, obviously. So, yeah, super to see. And some great comments there in the paddock as well, Greg.
Yeah, so while we're in the paddock there, we've got 1:40 to go. A few shout-outs, Tim. We have got some new Zwifters coming through here. Shout-out to a man, another Kiwi, actually, Mr. John Newsom. If you are into Ironman Triathlon, you would have, I guarantee you, over the past 11 years, I reckon, or 10 years, listened to the I Am Talk podcast. John runs that podcast. He's a great coach as well, and he's joining us in the paddock for the first, I reckon it might be his first ever Zwift race.
They give some good shout-outs too, so yeah. Welcome, absolutely. Welcome
John.
Along.
And,
yes.
And another athlete in there, Tim. We're getting a bit of triathlon royalty coming through this morning out of the US. Sky Munch, she won Ironman Frankfurt last year, if you don't mind. And,
really?
And I would imagine be lining up for Kona this year as she rolls around as well. So a great professional athlete out of the USA and has a huge social media following as well. So welcome to Sky.
Looks like we got 51 in A grade. So that's going to be a pretty solid pointing into the race. But of course, what we do like to try and do is cover as much ground as we possibly can. So B, C, D, wherever you are, we are for everyone. So of course, some of the numbers up the front are massive, but it's all relative. And what we're about is people progressing as well. So a bit like last year in our 2019 KOA Sports League, we saw people go from D grade to B grade over the course of probably 3 to 4 months. So it's really great to see. So hopefully you see the benefits, and hopefully if you're not coached by us, but if you've got a coach, they can walk you through exactly why these sorts of workouts once a week, once or twice a week,
absolutely,
are pretty damn handy.
Yeah, now if you're in the paddock and you're first timer, you want to be putting a serious amount of power through those pedals to retain in that front group when you roll off this start line. So 3, 2 and 1, and we are away in the KOA Sports Warrior race, and we cannot wait to see the fireworks here. Look at the size of this pack, Tim. There's a huge amount of riders. We'll get a good number on there very shortly as to who is in that group. And there we go, 111. So huge pack. And there's Pedro Ericart right on point, just rolling straight to the front.
Yeah, great to see. Look, we know these names so well, and Pikey, he's part of the league, and we'll try and give as many shout-outs as we possibly can. And like I said, as of next week, obviously, everyone will be able to be in their own jerseys. So if you're part of a team or anything like that, fear not, you'll be back in your own jerseys, and we'll do our very, very best to call the race as we see it and give it the best that we've got.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are in a team as well, please send us through as much info about your team and your riders as possible. We'll highlight you, we'll highlight your sponsors and all those sorts of cool things that we can do having a broadcast live on Zwift Community Live and on the KOA Sports Facebook page. Check it out on Twitch and YouTube as well. And a shout out, as always, Tim, to Nathan Guerra, who is clear. I don't know what time it is over there, but he'll be dialing in, and we are going to run through some pretty funny comments that are coming through on the page at the moment. One being about me being underdressed to be in Antarctica at the moment. So.
Yeah, unbelievable as we push through the pack and push on through here as well. So this pack sticking together pretty tight, and look at that as they move on through the big train. So Gumbel in there and Creeby doing a great job in working well. So look at some of that power there, Pikey, 400 watts at the moment, 162 beats per minute. Just a shout out to Pikey, it is 2 laps.
That's 2
Just
laps.
make sure that
it's
you know it is 2 laps.
And definitely did see Stratton in there as well. So he's backed up from taking those chockies last night. And a few Kiwi athletes in there too, Tim. Aaron Stagg out of New Zealand. We've got Dowd in there, Ivany, and we have got the regular hitters they're always on our races every week to week, and Thursday night in the US on the East Coast and in Canada, and Friday morning in Australia as well. So we've got the Hoff in there, Endo. It seems like a bit of a replay, Tim, of every race we have just on a different course. So pack's starting to split up now. A few dropped off the back there, so there's definitely some big watts being dropped.
Wilkinson in there. There's Stratton there, just right-hand side. So Stratton will definitely look for Stratton in the finish. The under-19s beside his name as well. Ciano, Greg, great to see the Zwift kid back. One of Nathan Guerra's favourites. So really tightly packed bunch here at the moment on the first lap. So you can see as we spoke through, let's talk through, again, we're really keen on this. Let's really highlight what exactly people are seeing on the screen at home.
Absolutely. So I'm going to jump the gun, Tim, and jump to the top left-hand corner, which you usually take, but we're looking there at watching Hassan. So 307 watts at the moment. His RPM in the corner there, that's his cadence, or how many revolutions per minute those pedals are going around at, and we're sitting about 90, which is absolutely perfect. And his heart rate there, 151 and climbing a little bit. And then if you want to jump to the white box at the top, Tim, which I sometimes can't see, but I'll let you jump in there.
Yeah, sure. So you can see at the moment just the peloton cruising along at a handy 55 kilometres per hour. They've covered 2.8 kilometres currently on this course, keeping in mind that we have 2 laps here tonight and about 23 Ks to cover. So people will start to get pretty comfortable. Here's a nice little kick here, 5-6% as they come up this ride. Look at those power numbers change on there on the side for Hassan, just to sit in with the pack as well. Back to 21 metres as the elevation starts to climb. That will end up somewhere around for this tonight's race, I think in the 300s for elevation, and 3 minutes and 48 seconds time elapsed for the race tonight so far. And then on the top left, of course, you've got the course map, which gives you a little bit of a profile, which does change a little bit here on New York because they do go through different areas of the park, of course. So that profile, unlike when we're out on sand and Sequoia or things like that, where it's just the same the whole way through. So it can be a bit deceptive on a storyline 8. Just a little tip for the punters out there that it is not the whole entire course. So it does mix it up a bit. And now they come down that downhill where the riders can get a little bit of relief.
Yeah, and I'll just jump in there too, Tim. I was hanging out with my 5-year-old nephew yesterday afternoon. Now, he knew his left and his rights, but you clearly don't. So that little map he was referring to in the top left is actually in the top right of the screen, but that's
Don't say
okay.
top left.
That's all right. It's been one hell of a 24 hours in the KOA Sports world.
Apologies. My left and rights are a little bit off, clearly. So some of the athletes in there, Gilbert, we know Gilbert, he's definitely taken out a few of the KOA Sports Warrior races. Lenoir, Ivany, we love Ivany. We did a pretty funny race preview. And Ericart, Mr. Consistent. Ericart. Now, Ericart, I know, just looking through the old Zwift Power stuff, he's pretty good on the climb, Ericart. Yeah. So, and we know actually has a pretty good sprint. So it'll be pretty interesting to see what Ericart has in store tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Another note, here's this little, look at that, Tim, 10%. This is where people are going to really push it off the front here. Look at Stretton, the young man. He's just 10 watts a kilo. And we've got Bain there as well, 8 watts a kilo. And Gilbert coming through there too. So a bit harder to pick out the riders this evening, but we'll do our absolute best. This is really starting to string out here now as they come up this climb.
Yeah, Ivany there, as you say, in that front pack. So there's that string out. We'll see what sort of attrition we get. But it is, the high-quality riders, such as the high quality. So we might not see as much attrition as we sometimes normally see because they are shorter type climbs. So, when you get your longer climbs like Titans Grove, some of the big riders can put the pressure on for much longer periods of time.
Yep.
But given these ones are so short, if you've got sort of good 60, 90 second type power, you can just sort of try and hang in there for as long as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So Stratton still absolutely bashing it off the front, no doubt about it. 185 beats a minute. If my heart rate hit 185, I'd probably fall off the trainer. But the young guy absolutely smashing it out there. And we've got McLean in there too. I haven't seen McLean in the pack there before, Tim. So he's from the Cannondale team, and he will be absolutely lighting it up in this front group as well. So about 50 riders still in that front group as they roll around and smash it around Central Park in New York, which not too many people out today.
Yeah, not too many people out indeed. But last week, we're going to do a few FAQs as well, by the way. So we're going to come back. We did that last night in the broadcast. So you can go back and watch, of course, the replay or stick around because we actually got some of the same questions that came through overnight. And I love how much I love feedback. So we're going to go through some of those to try and explain for those league members and those who are looking to join exactly how this concept works. Because, of course, next week we start racing proper and we start racing for points. So a really good chance here to get a bit of a feel for things, maybe a little bit of a left-hand sideways look or right-hand, depending on which where you come from at the competition as well. But in the meantime, of course, from April 9th, we'll be bringing in some of the AHDR Chop coverage. Let's hear from the man himself, Surly Chops, on what is coming out soon.
Hey team, got some great news to share with you. The Chop is coming back to Zwift Community Live broadcast, with Aussies Greg and Tim calling all the action. With race broadcasts starting April 9th, we guarantee you'll find some more watts. Ride on.
Tim, we are pumped about getting into the AHDR and the Surly Chops there. He has developed a league over there.
Group ride. It's just so popular. You've done a few. I mean, he really, he's just a really productive member and clearly one of the first adopters of the Zwift platform and has the most.
He's the highest miles online, and another man that we know real well, Nathan Guerra, sits inside that top 10 as well. But they
Hassel
won't
the
catch
Hoff,
him.
mate.
The Hoff's back.
The Hoff's in there, and he's joined
there.
the league as well. He's joined the league, so welcome back.
And
to
a heap of his teammates, his finesse teammates, in there too, Tim. So from next week, we will see the yellow train, as we like to call it, the finesse team, and they usually have some structure around how they race.
I don't know whether I can. No, I'm going to go with it because they did send it to me. They've got a sneaky new jersey the Team Finesse boys. So
Wow.
it might not be all yellow. So they did send it, and they did announce it. So I definitely haven't thrown them under the bus there. So so we'll be looking for that. But we've got 4 teams currently registered, so you can go to the KOA Sports League website, and just under the Join the League, you've got the Build a Team. So if you've got a little bit of FOMO going on, you can join now. It's free. We're just about to tick over 300 members in our little community of 1.7 million Zwifters.
Did you just make that up, or has that been verified?
1.7 million.
1.7. It's gone up a lot in the last few weeks.
I like mayo.
A little bit of
mayo.
mayo.
I like to put a little bit of mayo. So, so you can build a team. So we've got 4 team submissions as of May.
Yep.
May is when we start writing for points in the teams, because we want to get, 10, 12 teams. And it takes a little bit of time for these things to gather a little bit of traction. But in April, it doesn't mean that you can't practice.
Absolutely.
And start to get your head around the concept of the teams, because we do structure the point system very differently. I'm not going to give it away, but you've got to think it through. You've got to think it through and just apply a little bit of brain power to how you want to structure your team. Because it's not all about brute force.
Absolutely. And if you do want to contact him directly, his number is +61
You're a disgrace.
434.
Don't you dare throw that out there. Haven't you seen my phone in the mornings? Goodness gracious.
Oh, dear. So quick shout out to some of the comments coming through online. We've got... we've got there Chris Birtwhistle, Tim, here's a question for you and Kappa. Who has the biggest head in the penguin world right now? I'm not too sure. Okay, we'll pass on that one.
Is he talking about us?
The king penguin?
I'd say Greg.
I'd be the king penguin.
Z Johnson there has just taken a little attack off the front there. So G Johnson just putting down the hammer. Going to need a hell of a lot more time to hold this group off. And Bibby coming across the gap there at 477 watts just to close down that attack. 159 beats per minute, but holding a very, very nice cadence there. So it's looking like Bebe is going to bring that right back and bring the whole peloton around with him. Do you like Bebe?
Bebe has been in our events many times before, because I always have a little bit of a giggle when you say Bebe, Tim. So it's, he's definitely in there. And Sanchez, the Spanish athlete as well. And clearly some athletes around the world going through a bit of stuff at the moment, having to stay at home. So it's good to see these guys and girls absolutely smashing it out on these trainers as they go.
Yeah, going well there. Zagella in there. Gleason from Race 3R. Jay Thomas from Team Finesse. So going to be interesting to see these Finesse boys start to line up and work out that train, because in the end, though, no matter train or whatever, that 8%, that train is going to absolutely explode off the rails, and it's going to be every person for themselves. Poliski and McLean there from Cannondale 4i. I wonder if Eric Lazelle's in there. I haven't seen his name this morning. Usually turning up Lazelle, but we'll keep an eye out.
He's good at hiding, though, Tim. He is
very good.
He's very good at hiding and timing those power-ups. Absolute perfection. Another name I haven't quite seen in there yet this morning is the great man who won last week, JPV. So haven't seen him come through yet. And a shout out to Masayuki Tomozawa, who we have highlighted on this event before. He slept in, Tim. He slept in and missed.
And comes the end of that SprintCon banner. So a chance here to either pick up a power up, of course, ready for that finish line. So on that second lap, we may see a few being played, and a very popular little SprintCon there for live events that we obviously talked to many, many times. But the guys here, they're going to start to get organised. There's a big ride-on bomb being played. There's a feather power up, so just taking a little bit of weight off the avatar, spin the legs out for about 25, 30 seconds, and away they go. So look at that gradient, just those changes all the time. Such is the relentless nature of this Astoria Line 8 course.
Yeah, we had a bit of feedback last night, Tim, from a couple of athletes who have joined the league and not really raced before, saying, are all the races this hard? Now, the simple answer to that is yes. The longer form answer to that is that the races vary week to week. So we've got a variety of courses, and we're going to jump on the crit course. We're going to do all sorts of things as we run through the league. And you can check out all the events and the events calendar at koasportsleague.com. But do that after the broadcast.
Eric Hart there going off the front. Mason Butler's just putting a comment in there. He's been dropped after 10 minutes. Well, we're all about people finishing. This race most definitely holds one of the highest completion rates in all the events on Zwift.
Yeah, and you'll see some riders there just turned off to the left. This course does lend itself to crossing over a few times, so a couple of figure eights. So don't be alarmed. We're all still on course.
And here's a bit of a look. So this will be the finish line. So watch this start start to kick up. We may see a little bit of an attack here as well. We're certainly going to see some big numbers, but this is essentially the finish line on the second lap. So a bit of a look here. Riders starting to come out of the saddle. And last night, this is where we saw numbers well and truly over 1,000 watts and certainly well and truly over 14 watts per kilo. So there's all those feather up power-ups. They're playing them. They want to stay with this front group. They don't want to let them go. They'll come under here as well if they're not possessing one and pick up another new power-up.
Yeah, so good question for you. I always throw you under the bus with this one. What would be your favourite power-up to have on this course, Tim, for the finish?
Feather for me.
You'd hold it, if you could, you'd hold it to that finish line.
As long as I could, because I think that, but you just got to time it right. You probably want to play it a little bit earlier because you do just carry a little bit of momentum, I find, with that power-up. So you certainly won't want to have any power-up left in the kitty, in your back pocket as you cross the finish line. But that's all about practice, and practice makes perfect, and you try and get your timings right. And that's what we certainly see as well. That's what we definitely see as well. So, Greg, while they start this second lap, we're going to have a little bit of a glass of water. I think a glass of water or
coffee?
Water.
Another coffee?
We'll just take a short little break. Unfortunately, at the moment, nobody can get here to the Sunshine Coast, but a little bit of a preview as to what you can expect in our backyard, as, of course, we run some training camps during the year that you can get to later and check them out. And people just have a great, great time with all the coaches here, and athletes really get together.
Yeah, what a place, Tim. And that weather is certainly starting to hit the slot, as we like to call it. And I'm looking out the window right now.
I'll be going for a little pedal this afternoon.
It might be.
That is
now, we might have to bring back in 2020, Tim, and the KOA Sports board meeting, which we used to run in 2019 through winter, at about midday on a Friday. We might have to start jamming a few of those in again. Yeah,
the board meetings on a bike, because we do some of our... Sometimes it's nice, I don't know, just to put the phone down for a couple of hours and do some of your best thinking, because those phones, mate, they can seriously control everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, a huge shout out, Tim, to a big group of athletes. We'll get back to these three in just a second.
Bit of a breakaway.
Yeah, a bit of a breakaway, but really quickly, just a real quick shout out to Cycling Queensland. They've really got behind this KOA Sports League. They've been sharing it out to all of their athletes, many thousands of them around the great state of Queensland. And I've seen a few of those athletes in there this morning, and you'll see them highlighted on the right-hand side with a CQ that some of them have put, so we can identify those guys as Cycling Queensland members.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's great to see different people getting engaged. We did obviously get a lot of private messages from different people trying to understand the concept of Zwift racing. So we do try for our league guys as well, put out as much content, little race tips, little bits here and there, little emails from time to time, and of course on the KOA Sports podcast, which we try to release monthly, sometimes inside a month. And we just happen to have a KOA Sports podcast dropping later today, which will be a pretty fascinating insight into what exactly athletes are experiencing in different parts of the world. Of course, we coach athletes in approximately 30 countries, and we've got 10 of those countries represented on the next episode of the KOA Sports podcast dropping later today.
Yep.
And it makes for amazing listening, not only because you get to obviously realise that there are many people on different parts of the curve. You know, you've got, one guy, which I won't reveal, coming out the other side, another female athlete just potentially starting. And what are they doing, and what are we doing as coaches to adapt to this ever-changing and very fluid situation?
Yeah, definitely. And have a listen in there. There's been some development overnight with an interview I did for the podcast yesterday. So the last interview, I believe, that we did, Tim, so a guy by the name of Matt Nelson, he has been in 10 countries over the last 8 weeks, being chased around the world by a virus. And I got my fingers crossed for Matt and his lovely wife that they can get back to China today. So
unbelievable.
Dial into that, and has continued training through this entire time. He's had his bike with him.
Yeah, you can see that there, bottom left. It's asking to join a vet. So of course in 26 minutes time. So we'll hold that one off and stick with this race soon, because in about, what have we got? Probably about 10 minutes to go in this race. And certainly yesterday we saw some attacks with about 6 minutes to go. Some massive powers, nice aero tuck position there up the fronts from some of the riders as they just sort of free their legs up. Joel Eby, he has had clearly a trainer issue. There's no way that he is 3 minutes back off the pack. I definitely threw him off
Under the bus.
There's no way he's back in that position, let me tell you.
Not at the fitness level that Joel's hitting at the moment, which we can obviously see on Training Peaks, which we have a great partnership with Training Peaks. And if you are in this race as a community member, but you want to join the KOA Sports League and join these verified races, you can hit the link on the KOASportsLeague.com and jump on, register a Training Peaks account, hook it up to us, and you will be in the verified racing league, which we will be giving away some awesome prizes as the series goes on.
Yeah, here comes a big kicker here, 6%. Feather Power Up being played up off the man off the front there, so we'll try and find out who that is, but 6%. Real kicker here, Greg. This will definitely put some extra hurt. 10% now through the legs here.
Gilbert off the front.
Gilbert now putting down the hammer right off the front, but they're all responding really well. Look at that, 550 watts. Unbelievable. Just to sit in the pack, 184 beats per minute. If you could see some of these riders now, there would be pools of sweat on the floor and a lot of pain faces. And this hurts in the finish, because you talk about matches burned. They've just burned a match to stay together. And we're just getting a split there, but I think they're all going to come back together again.
And Pedro is certainly not one of the younger athletes in the field. So 188 beats a minute, if you don't mind. Umpire, I just stolen that straight from you. So a lot of power-ups having to be played there just to re-establish the athletes back in the group, as we see a few more come back on to the back of the group as well. So still got huge group there. We've got Ivany, Gleeson, Johnson, and a lot of other guys and girls who you regularly join us. Dowd, Hould, Endo's still in there. Endo is in this pack every week, Tim.
Yeah, Rug in there as well, and I know definitely a contact there at Zwift HQ, Rug, so he's a welcome along, and great to see him in the race tonight, experiencing the pain.
Sorry to interrupt, as we like to do as two Australian idiots, is he now called the Rug Boot? Is that we're going to refer to him as the Rug Boot. So great to see a lot of the team at Zwift HQ. I believe, Tim, that they may be developing their own little team, as we see a big attack there coming through the group right now and just sitting up again, just re-establishing themselves straight back in that front group.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to get geared up here, 17.3 kilometres down, and of course this course in about 5 kilometres time. So let's relax the vocals for a minute and we'll be straight back.
Good little stinger in the corner there. So
join in.
And coming along the bottom there, I saw the little sign. Kappa loves his cappuccinos without milk anymore, so it's good to see. Have you actually drunk the coffee I bought you this morning?
I haven't had time yet, mate.
Mate, I bought you a beautiful long black there. I spent hours, slaving over the coffee machine to make that for you, and you've just left it.
So let's go through some of these riders here. I like the look of Ericard. I think that this really favours definitely plays to his strength. I'm unsure whether he's going to absolutely have what he needs in the finish, but Jesus, if he's not top 10, I'll go he. So look for him as
top
we pick
10.
Up
Come on, you can't be doing predictions and saying top 10. He's in the top 10 every week. Come on, throw it out there. Is he going to win or not?
I'm not going to do a prediction because
You've got
if
that
I
many
do it,
splinters in your bum. It's
if
not
I
even
do
funny.
it, he won't. But if you make a prediction, you're the kiss of death. You are definitely the kiss of death.
We'll
So,
just see Alex Side just popped a comment through there
Man
on
down.
the Zwift man
Think he's
down.
exploded.
So he's had an explosion, a small explosion, but he'll be back next week, no doubt about it, and certainly entrenched well and truly in the KOA Sports League. And shout out to all the viewers watching on Facebook, on Zwift Community Live, and on the KOA Sports Facebook page as well. So throw through any comments.
Just want to address a couple of things really quickly. So I've had a few comments of people trying to join the league races and emails and things like that saying I can't see the event in the app. Well, that is very much on purpose, being they are private events. So you need to go and join the league. You'll get a login, and then there'll be events and workouts that you can join there sitting behind the wall. So that's why you can't see it. But of course, once you do join, you can see it on the app. It's a little bit of a different way, but hey, this is brand new, and we are pushing on as we did in 2019. And like I said, we're just about to push through 300 members and 111 on tonight. I think 40 last night, and some more races coming later this morning as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another private race coming up straight after this. If you want to, we've developed that one, Tim, for the endurance junkie. So we're going to be doing the same course, 3-lapper. So if you are interested in that and you are a member of the league, jump on the website and register for that.
And last thing, just before we get to this finish, because things are going to start to get really interesting, is how people verify. So once you join up, we have what's called verified races. So that's a real look where they connect either an existing or they create a free new Training Peaks account and they connect with one of the coaches here and ride on through. So we'll be having a look at some of the training data as well as the race data. So it just brings that added layer of certainty to some of the results here as well, which we try to do. And we'll try and educate through that as well. So you can verify. You don't have to. There's certainly plenty of events there that are not verified, if you want to say it that way. But if you want to race in the verified races, we just want to make sure that we can see not only the race data, but some of the training data as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got, Tim, we're just hitting 21 Ks there. So only about 2.5 kilometres to go, which will take these guys under 5, 6, 7 minutes to complete. So looking at about a 32-minute clocking. And interesting fact when I went through doing the research on this course is if you go to Strava after you've ridden 2 laps of this course, you will find Luc Gilbert holds the com for doing 2 laps around here. I'm not too sure exactly when he did it, but I think it was 2019 sometime at about 28 minutes. So he's look for him in the finish as well. He's always very, very strong. And the experience, there must be 5,000 Zwift races in this front group between them.
Some of the matches burned here that we've definitely observed. This is going to come down to essentially the last 10 seconds is my prediction, Greg. There's one for you. Let's see if we do see an early attack, but I'm not sure how these riders can sustain much more than 90 seconds at the rivet because they will be seriously hurting at the moment, and it'll be interesting to see what they have in store in the finish. So definitely starting to wind up now, maybe just sort of fighting for the middle back of the pack here and trying to just freshen up those legs for what is going to be an explosive finish coming up that ramp-like finish here on Astoria Line 8, the 2-lapper.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's still 26 athletes engaged in this front group and certainly a lot of the regular names as well.
Yeah, moving forward into the final kilometre here. So we come through this sprint comp banner. Will people be dumping power-ups that they like? Or if we don't see many power-ups being played, potentially that means they like what they've got. We've got Poliski here off the front from Team Finesse. He's gone early. He's put some pressure through the pack. 1 second back. Don't think it's going to be enough, but just trying to dictate terms here, not letting too many people sit in. We see the response there by Bloom playing the draft bust as he moved up on the left-hand side.
Yeah, so these guys now starting to use their power-ups to stay with the group. They're not really attacks for the finish just yet. Certainly trying to establish some attacks. Team Finesse, you'll see, start to get organised. There's a few of those riders still in that front group as well. So we've got Lemaire in there, Clark. There's still a big Ciano, the Zwift kid, still in there too, Tim. So we've got Bain still in there as well. And Sampson just holding on to the back of that pack. And I can see Shum still in there as well out of the USA. So little push off the front now now. And always, Tim, we've got Pikey still in there. And we are watching Pedro Ericart. We saw him hit 186 beats a minute not too long ago. So we expect to see him ramp it up to about 190 beats a minute up to this finish line.
And bear with us at home as we try and call the Melbourne Cup here and every jockey in the same jersey. So Hasselhoff in there, Ericart, Poliski, and we'll do our very, very best to call this. Lenoir and of Rugg is still hanging in there really, really well. So Clark there with the Kiwi flag. Will we see? They're going to get a little bit of reprieve here on the downhill, and then things are going to start to get really interesting here in the final minute of the KOA Sports League Warrior Race in the community.
Yeah, here we go now. Luke off the front, 12.5 watts a kilo. He's blowing his power up early. You can see the finish line, the top right. Up to him now is Dowd. Here comes Bickley over him as well. Here goes Dowd off the front. And he goes, but Dowd still going off the front. And Gilbert not holding in there. He's going up to the line to finish it. Here comes Lemaire up to his wheel. No good. Dowd takes the chocolates in that race, Tim. And what an explosive performance. Not too many feathers played there. We see a lot of vans being washed through. So an unbelievable finish to that KOA Sports Warrior race. And Dowd, Ollie Dowd, we have highlighted him before, Tim. He's taken the chocolates, I believe, once before as well. So a great timed spinach. It's a great timed finish. I've lost me spinach. Maybe I need some. But good to see Ollie Dowd there. And we're just bringing up a little bit of a replay, I think, Kappa, as we, if you can get to us there. There we go. Look at that for timing. So, Tim, I'll let you talk through the replay.
Yeah, amazing, wasn't it? Just that getting that timing right finally on that ramp there. So Gilbert, he went early. Let's have a look here. So we'll fast forward. So Gilbert goes there. He's pushing 12 watts per kilo. There you can see Dowd on that purple Tron bike, just absolutely flying through with the Aero Power helmet, just possessing that right power up. Played it early enough, and see how he didn't have anything left in the pocket, and had just enough, and that's all you need, is just enough to hold off the chase back there of Lemaire and Bain of Team Finesse. So Dowd taking the chocolates here in the Warrior race.
And I will say, Tim, Lemaire might be one that's sort of counting his, a little bit unlucky there. I think he went 2 seconds too late on using that power up. You always like to see the power up burn out within about 50 metres of the finish line, and he just played it a fraction late. So here I am back with the Penguins, and I'm a little bit, maybe next time I should bring a jumper, Kappa, if you're going to keep me in Antarctica.
You're underdressed. We saw that comment
thanks for the comment.
We saw that on Facebook. So what an amazing race. And as things start to build up, so we're going to be kicking off, of course, the workouts next week. The live workouts, we'll be broadcasting some of those just to give people a bit of a feel as to what we are doing here at the KOA Sports League. We'd like to bring a whole nother layer of coaching. So, we do have some athletes on a Zoom call, but there's many ways to interact that we were doing last year as well on the KOA Sports League. So those workouts kick off next week. It is free to join, so please come and join, build a team, or just come along for a bit of fun and learn your craft here in Zwift racing, and also obviously in training as well, Greg.
Yeah, so let's wrap it up. If you've been watching this morning and want to get involved with a little bit of FOMO, koasportsleague.com. We are ready for you. So come over, join the league. There is so much content coming through at the moment, Tim. We've got a podcast dropping later on this afternoon. We better get to work on that. And then next week we start our workout series as well. So if you join the league, access the workouts. We are looking forward to seeing you guys on the next broadcast. And thank you to Kappa for all your hard work, mate. And we look forward to seeing all of you guys soon.